Welcome back to your 6-video marathon training series. This is video 2, all about gear. This series is for beginners or anyone who feels like they just haven't really gotten a handle on the marathon training yet or the marathon distance, have had trouble in the past executing it, or maybe coming back to the distance after a long time off. This is perfect for you. So if you missed that first video in this series, I will go ahead and link it here. It talks all about that very important first step of wisely choosing your race, as well as trying to decide what marathon training plan you're going to utilize. Okay, so first we're going to talk about, I feel like, everybody's favorite gear topic, and that's shoes. So the difference between buying shoes for marathon training versus maybe the training you've done in the past is that you may have been able to get by with one pair of shoes before when you were maybe only running a few times a week or not running high mileage. For marathon training, you want to have at least 2 pairs of shoes. Now, honestly, they could be the exact same type of pair of shoes if you have one that you really like, and then you just alternate between the 2 every other run, and that would work just fine. But if you do want to extend your rotation a little bit, I recommend having 3 to 4 pairs of shoes, depending on the type of training that you're doing, what's in your training plan, whether you have speed or you don't have speed. It's probably going to look a little bit different. This is my most cushioned shoe, and you'll see that I have different brands here, and I've changed throughout the years. This is just what I have right now. And just an example, I really encourage you to go to the store and find just what's comfortable for you, because not everybody is going to like or want the same things. It's not going to feel the same on everybody's foot. But for a recovery day shoe, easy run, you're going to want something that's thicker, more cushioned. So that's what these are. If you do have like a strides run or a speed day in your training, choosing something that is lighter weight, going to help you have a little bit more pep in your step, going with something lighter. This is a pretty thin cushioned shoe. You could definitely go with something with more cushion. This has a nylon plate in it, which is going to give you a little bit more pop for that speed. And then the biggest thing is that I get a question about is, should I get a carbon plated shoe? These are very expensive. You absolutely do not need them. However, if you want them, if you want to spend the money on them, I think you'll be really excited to have them no matter what pace you have. Really, it ends up being mostly a race day shoe, but you do want to use it a little bit towards the end in your training so you can at least get some practice with it. Or if you maybe have a shorter race in the middle of your marathon training, that would be a great time to utilize them. This is just one pair that I have from Nike. This is the Alpha Fly. But pretty much every brand has a carbon plated shoe, and you can definitely find older models of them for much cheaper if you want to go that route. But really, when it comes to shoes, just if you can have those 2 that you're rotating between, something more cushioned that you just feel really comfortable in, they're going to be fine for race day as well. So next we're going to get into hydration gear and fuel storage, which our next video is going to be all about getting into the nitty-gritty of hydration and fuel. But for this gear video, I'm going to talk about the gear that's actually going to hold that hydration and hold that fuel for you. So in marathon training, it's going to look different than what you've done in the past. Maybe you had one if you were doing half marathon training, but you definitely want a vest or some sort of a hydration pack. So this is the one that I have. It's from Nathan. It's a 4-liter, and I don't have the bottles, but it actually comes with 2 20-ounce bottles for the front, and you can buy a bladder for it to go in the back too, or you could take out the bottles and just do a bladder. There's lots of different options. This is my favorite. Probably sizing down if you're between sizes in any vest that you're getting, because you want it to be tight. You don't want it to be bouncing around. You can also substitute vest with a belt, but I find that most people do better with the vest. But if you like that idea, there's definitely options out there, but they don't hold quite as much. A couple other things I like for hydration, because I also like to be taking a electrolyte drink, which will often have in one of the bottles in this. But if it's a shorter run, I might take something like this, which is 14 ounces, I believe. This is a handheld. I love this. And it also has storage for a couple of gels. That's good for like kind of a medium distance run. If I'm going for something shorter, easy run, then I have these that fit in the pockets of my shorts, which I'll show you in a little bit. This is 8.5 ounce. This is 5 ounce. Just kind of having a different array of things that you can use for hydration will ensure that you are actually going out and making sure that you're taking that water on the run that you need. So getting into the fuel storage, the hydration vest is going to double as that. That's what's so nice about these. They can hold all of your water, hold all of your fuel, your gels, whatever it is you're going to be taking, because there are so many pockets. And then utilizing clothing where you can store these things as well. So I like to have compression shorts, and I feel like these people who I know that have been running for a really long time, run a lot of marathons, this is what they end up using, I think, for the most part, because you can hold the most things in these. These are from Fabletics, but you can find them from lots of different places, but very deep pockets. There's pockets in the waistband as well. I can fit a ton in here. So just know, if you're not gonna end up using the vest, you're probably gonna end up like a pack rat on your long runs and your marathon, and that's okay. I also have this sports bra that I love that has a pocket in the back, because I like to take my phone, and then that's what I put in here, and that way my phone is not taking up space in my shorts, because I don't use a vest anymore. I think what men typically do, or what I usually recommend, is that they maybe have a thinner short over the top. I mean, you don't have to, but it seems like most guys want to. And then you can wear the compression shorts that they have for men that are very similar to this, that have lots of pockets. I'll link a couple ideas below if that's something that you're looking for. So next, anti-chafing. So maybe this is something that you've struggled with in the past, even on shorter runs, but it really gets most people for the long runs if you're not careful, just because you're out there for such a long period of time and you're sweating so much. So you definitely want something to utilize that's going to have that anti-chafing effect. This is Body Glide. Aquaphor is another really good one. Vaseline, just using something to reduce that friction of your clothing rubbing against your skin or skin on skin. It definitely doesn't feel good. Along those same lines, moisture wicking clothing, which I think in this day and age we have lots of access to. Just make sure you're not wearing cotton. And I forgot to grab a pair, but really thin socks, moisture wicking socks, those are the best. The really, really thin ones, I'll link my favorite below. But that's what I found to avoid blisters, because I've had people have trouble with that. Thinner socks are better than thicker socks. Sun protection, obviously you should be taking sun protection with you anytime that you're going outside, but even more so when you're going on these really long runs. You don't want to forget it. You will get sunburnt even on the days you don't even realize that it's that sunny out if you're not careful. So I just have one product in particular that I like for face. I'll kind of use whatever my family has at the time for my body, and it works fine. Face, I'm a little bit more particular about. I like this one from Sunbum. There's a different one from La Roche-Posay that I really, really like. And that's because when I get really sweaty, I don't like to have that kind of melty feeling on my face. So I'm a little bit more particular about that. Chapstick is something also I recommend taking with you. Easy to just put in a pocket or in your vest. Things like sunglasses, hats, those are gonna be even more important when you're going on these really long runs. So the next one is night running. So you might find that you're needing to run in those dark hours, more so in marathon training, just to get your runs in, because there's a lot more volume that you're going to be needing to do in marathon training. And so that might mean you need to start earlier than you have in the past, or you need to go after work and you need something for those dark runs. So my favorite thing is this vest from Nox Gear. It lights up in like lots of different colors. So it just helps for being seen. My best girlfriends that I run with, we all have them. And then you're gonna need a headlamp too. So, but just making sure that you're being safe if you're running in the dark. And yeah, when it comes to marathon training, we know we have to get it in. And so having the right gear to make sure that you're not making excuses is really important. And the last one I want to talk about is gym equipment. So the treadmill. Now, I'm not telling you need to buy a treadmill if you don't have one, but I have found with working with lots of athletes, the ones who end up staying the most consistent are the ones who have some good backup plan for if things go awry with the weather and they can't get outdoors, or they aren't able to run in the dark. Having that backup plan with a treadmill is really important. So if you have one, great. If you want to buy one, that's great too. But really what I'm recommending is that you just have access to one. So as marathon training is getting started or before it starts, I really recommend that you find a gym close by to you that you can get just a drop-in pass to, so that when that day comes, you're already prepared and you say, oh, it's snowing outside. Oh, well, I can just go to the gym and I'll do my run on the treadmill. And that way you're not making an excuse for it not getting done. For the most part, it's better if you can stick to your routine. Having access to a treadmill really helps take away the excuses. And the last part of that gym equipment is the strength training piece of marathon training is really important for staying injury free. And so having access to dumbbells, even just like a smaller set of dumbbells, lower weight is fine. And then having these resistance bands, and they just come in a set typically. And you can do a lot more than you think with just body weight, but even having 1 or 2 sets of dumbbells, maybe depending on where you're at or what your strength is, but 10 to 20 pounds, that's going to work wonders for you for just staying injury free through this block. And I think that's it. There's definitely some extras like upgrading your GPS watch, but I really tried to stick to the basics of what I think is going to help you just stay on the path to having your most successful marathon training block and having the gear that helps you do so. Next week, I'll be back in video 3, and that is going to be on the very important topic of fueling and hydration, knowing what you need to do in order to have the energy to get through all of your runs, as well as energy throughout the day and recover really, really well. So don't miss that one. It's probably the biggest topic that I talk about where people struggle with the most. Thanks for joining me today, guys, and I'll catch you in that next one.